Hey guys, I hope you like my new surroundings. I may or may not be trespassing, I don't know, nobody's kicked me out yet, so here we go. Today's episode is all about how the less is more philosophy can apply to teenagers. I get emails from folks asking about my philosophy and how it can help them, and oftentimes it turns into remote coaching with folks as far away as Kyrgyzstan, if you can believe it. Hi, Craig. But I got an email a couple weeks ago from a dad asking about his teenage daughter who has had some shoulder issues that have really held her back for the last couple of years. And so the short answer is yes. Most swimmers, not just teenagers, but most swimmers could and should be swimming less than they are. If you have been following this vlog, you know this is a soapbox for me. We are really good at training kids and swimmers to grind out 20, 40, 100, 100s, but we are not as good at training them to race, and to race with good fundamentals, good technique, good habits, good discipline. That's not how it goes, unfortunately. Now, the longer answer is yes, they should be swimming less, but they should not be doing exactly what I'm doing. A lot of my success has been based on some really intense heavy lifting, a lot of time in the gym that teenagers should not be doing. They should absolutely be spending time in the gym, but doing body weight exercises, push-ups, pull-ups, core work, box jumps, body weight squats, that kind of stuff, but staying away from the really heavy stuff. And a big part of the reason for that is because it makes you more marketable to a college coach if you can go to them and say, look, I have room to grow. But if you go to them and say, I'm already training like a college swimmer, it's not as attractive unless you're, a superstar. So let's take a look at my new client. On my new board, or somebody's new board, 16 years old, shoulder hypermobility that pretty much takes her out of practice starting at about 3,000 to 3,500, depending on the day. As we all know, this is usually when practice is just getting going, the big stuff, the main set. Because the typical practice is, 1,500 to 2,000 warm up, and then you got the pre-main set, it's like 8 100s kick, and then you got the main set. And so just as they're getting into the repeat 100s, 200s, 300s, or whatever, she has to check out. And so that has meant that she is supplementing her time in the pool, only about 4 to 5 practices a week, with extra time in the gym. Now, her events lend themselves really well to the problem that she has and hopefully the solution. 50, 100 free, and a bit of 100 backstroke. If this was butterfly, this would be a lot harder. If this was distance, this would be really hard, but it's not. So let's get into the kind of work I'm gonna be prescribing for her in a typical week. Okay, a typical week is gonna look somewhat similar in scheduling to mine, meaning Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are pool and gym. But for her, it's gonna be a bit more time in the pool. Whereas for me, it's like 5 to 800, just warming up to go lift. For her, it's gonna be 2 to 25, maybe 3,000. We have to see how her shoulders hold up as we start going through this process. But mostly those days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's gonna be about skills and drills, getting rid of bad habits, creating new good ones, working on lung capacity and discipline. Nothing that's really intense. We're gonna try and stay away from taxing her shoulder. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, similar to mine, which is the higher intensity race kind of training. And so that's where we're gonna try and push on her and see how her shoulder holds up. Hopefully, in backing off on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from what she normally does and not taxing her shoulder on those days, hopefully we can get away with more. But we're gonna have to see how this goes and adjust accordingly. This is kind of a typical Monday, Wednesday, Friday for her. Don't try to read ahead and figure it out because it's all scratch that I'll have to explain anyway. 3 rounds of 100 swim, freestyle, that's done by 25s, 2 dolphin kicks off the wall, 3, 4, 5 dolphin kicks off the wall. So 2 the first one, on the last 25, 5 dolphin kicks before you start swimming. Second 100 is swim. We're working on breathing. breathing every 3 in the first round. Now in the second round, this is going to change to something a little bit more difficult for the breathing, maybe 4, 3, 2, 1. So 4 breaths, 3 breaths, 2 breaths, 1 breath. And then in the third round, 3 breaths, 2 breaths, 1 breath, 0 breaths. Just depends on how good you are at holding your breath. Maybe you have to start at 5, 4, 3, 2, something like that. 825s. This is by 2s. So 2 pushing off with a pull buoy between your legs and working on distance off the wall, holding the glide until you run out of steam and you have to start swimming. The focus there is on the push. The pull buoy is going to try and pull your lower half up. So you have to suck in your tummy, suck in your butt to try to hold your body line for the best, farthest, fastest push that you can do. The next 2 are going to be sculling. There's all types of sculling on your stomach, on your back, forwards, backwards, mixing it up, working on feel, the connection between the hand and the forearm, and then 100 dolphin kick, where probably hands are at the side to take the stress off the shoulders, being in the streamlined position. And by 25s, kind of similar, 4, 6, 8, 10 dolphin kicks. They're 100 flutter with a snorkel, again, hands at the side, and that is all about body position. Noticing how the head position changes the body position. You go up, the hips go down. You go too far down, you start taking yourself under, and you sink. 425s drill of your choice. For freestylers, I really like doing an evolution drill where you start off the 25, the push is minimal. You go right into your stroke so that you have enough time to work. And you start off with a high arm, straight arm, and you go sometimes forwards, backwards, and then finish it off into the water, working on driving the arm in along with the hip and using both to boost your momentum forward. And when you slow it down like this, you can really feel how driving that arm in and using the hip and the shoulder together gives you a little bit extra. And then as the 25 progresses, changing from this straight arm to a little bit more high elbow until it becomes basically kind of like a zip drill. Backstrokers, I really like doing what's called an L drill or a sailboat drill. You bring your arm up, stop it at about 45 degrees over your hip, and you kick there for a few kicks, a couple seconds, it's up to you. But this allows you to notice, okay, where is your arm position? Is it gonna start going off this way, which is no good? Is it gonna go over your midline, which is no good? And then it's also gonna allow you to set up a good catch right here. So once you're coming out of your kicks and you're ready to transition, you're going into a good catch. This arm is taking off, driving into the water, just like with freestyle, the hip, the shoulder, the arm working together to drive the arm in, and this one accelerating through to pop up quickly. And then to finish out the round, it's 2 minutes of vertical kick, mixing it up between dolphin, flutter, and egg beaters or breaststroke, full breaststroke kick. The interval on this is very relaxed. Here, we might be looking at anywhere from 1:30 to 1:45. Here, 45 seconds to a minute, whatever you have to do to make this great. Here, this is more like 1:45 to maybe 2 minutes, depending on how good you are at hitting these numbers. Here, it's back to 45 seconds or a minute, and then we got that. So that's a typical Monday, Wednesday, Friday kind of deal. Let's look at the other days. All right, so before we get into the hard swimming for the week, forgot to mention what's going on in the gym. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're following a similar pattern to what I do, which is alternating upper and lower. For this week example, Monday and Friday are the lower days and Wednesday is the upper day, in part because Thursday we've got some kicking. I don't like doing lower one day and then kicking the next day. It's a little bit too much on the lower. And then Wednesday is going to be somewhat driven by her PT because of her shoulder problems, but we are working on pull-up strength, push-up, trying to get, she can currently do 10 pull-ups, which is good. We want to get closer to 20. We want to start doing some of that with weight, trying to get 10 pull-ups with weight. We want to really hit the core, front and back. And on lower days, we're doing body weight stuff, like I said, box jumps, lunges, squats, We can do those with dumbbells to add difficulty, and also working on abductors and adductors. Copenhagen's are a wonderful, miserable exercise that you can do. Also bands around the ankles and pulling the feet together, pulling the feet apart. Go check out my other vlogs on that stuff if you're scratching your head going, what is he talking about? Let's get into the swimming stuff. Tuesday, this is one of my favorite sets. It's really good for back half speed. It's 4 rounds of a 50 free on about 35. You want something that gives you, you're going like 80–85% effort, so kind of easy speed. And you want something that gives you about 5 seconds rest. So for instance, if the fastest you can push a 50 freestyle in practice is 25, we want to be about 29 or 30, maybe 30 here, but hopefully more like 29. And so intervals 35. Then we go into a 50 backstroke that's at, on 45, 150 pace. So a pretty good effort. Then a 50 easy on 120. As we go through this, we drop rounds. So now it's three times. Everything stays the same except the intensity goes up here. This is 100 pace for the 3 rounds. On the 2 rounds, this becomes close to all out, but not quite. And then last round, we want to push this a little more and see what we can do. All out, last 50, go for it. One of the things I love about this set is that you can go into this 50, which is really the focus, with some fatigue. Your heart rate is up, but it's not stroke specific fatigue. So especially breaststrokers and butterflyers. This will allow you to go into that 50 a little bit more sharp with your stroke, but with some fatigue. So it's still challenging. Now, with shoulder issues, if all of this becomes too much of a taxation on her shoulders, then we can turn this into kicking with a snorkel and try to alleviate some of that pressure. On Thursday, the kicking set. This is actually, there's 2 parts to this main set. First part is kicking. It's very straightforward, 10-25s dolphin kick on 45. And what we're looking for is 15 meters, at least 15 meters, if not the whole way, underwater. And the most important thing here is building your kicks. We don't want to start by blasting off. We want to start by using the wall speed that we have. Bigger, stronger dolphin kicks into smaller, faster as we go. Then some very active recovery to give the legs a little bit of a break, something like 25, 50, 75, 100 on a 25 base per 25. Heart rate for a teenager, somewhere in the 160s. 2 times through that. Then we get into some, what I consider fun. It's 4 25s, but the focus is on 15 meters and you're pushing off right at the surface. There is no drop and push. There's no underwater. You're setting your feet high. Your back is on the surface in a streamline, ready to go, and you blast off right at the surface so you can go right into your stroke and capture all that wall speed. For the first 4 25s, it's no equipment. It's freestyle in this case, and it is just high tempo. As fast tempo as you can get those arms around. It's all about, it's pure speed work. Then it's 4 25s with fins and a cord. So we're putting some resistance in there, but also a little bit of help with the fins. Same idea, crank it up, go. 4 25s, ditch the cord, fins only. And then 4 25s back to no equipment. See if you can hold that pace, because when you have fins, that's really gonna help you up your tempo. Can you hold on to it here? Again, it's only 15 meters. When you get to that 15-meter marker, you shut it down, you swim in easy. The interval here is a minute. It's a lot of rest because it's all about quality, high-tempo work. 2 rounds through that with active recovery after each round, winding up, just flushing out the system, hopefully starting over in the second round. Saturday, if you have seen any of my vlogs, then this comes up almost all the time. The 50s set. I love this set. I don't think there's a better set out there for training front half speed, back half speed. It is wonderfully horrible. 4 times a 50 fast on 55. That is not like faster than you normally swim. That is all out, fast, 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 race. Then it's 350s, whatever you want to do, easy. But at 55, you don't have time to just float it. Then you take a couple minutes, you go 4 times through a 50 fast on a minute. So we're upping the interval just a little bit because we're taking away a 50 easy. 2 50s easy. Then it's 4 times 50 fast, 50 easy, adding a bit more time to the interval. The way this is supposed to go is 4 50s all fast to finish out on 130, but I find that usually I'm dead by this point and I've lost the control over my bodily functions, lost control over my stroke. But if we get through this and we can do 450s on a minute 30, awesome. So that is kind of what the week is going to look like for her. Whoa, I got kicked out. That's okay though. I didn't need their magnificently beautiful whiteboard anyway. I was almost done. A couple things that I just want to emphasize, summarize about this kind of training. One, this is my first week with this swimmer. And so I have a lot to learn about her. And as we go, these practices will change probably significantly as I learn her capabilities and her limitations. And it's going to depend heavily on feedback that I get from her. It always does. When I work with swimmers, I like to be as much in their mind as I can be because this sport is based so much on feel. And if you're just assigning sets that are tough and not being responsive to how the swimmer feels, it's not going to go as well. The second thing about this is, like I said, it's kind of all or none, especially with the sets like the 50s set. When it says go fast, you go as fast as you can. And you execute it the way you want to execute a race. That means in backstroke, you're going at least halfway or 15 meters underwater. And if you're not used to doing that and it hurts your time, so be it. But you got to get good at that if you're a backstroker or a butterflyer. Breath control on freestyle. You got to do it the way you want to race it in a 50 or 100. And if you're not doing this kind of training with an eye to how you want to race it, it's not going to be as helpful to you. The thing that I love maybe most about this kind of training is that it can build so much confidence. And the thing I really don't like about traditional training is that it doesn't do a whole lot to build confidence. And we think about these sets, 100 100s, 8,000 IM for time. And we think, it's going to build so much mental and physical toughness. And when I'm behind the blocks for the 400 IM, I'm going to go, I did an 8,000 IM. And it's ridiculous. That's not how it goes. We are all nervous behind the blocks. Every single one of us, no matter what kind of training we've done. But these kids who are going through a whole season and struggling to hit their times, they're not behind the blocks thinking, I got this. No, they're thinking all season long, I haven't hit a single time I've wanted to hit. How is this going to go any better? And I hear it all the time in the warm down pool. Kids coming back from their events. Well, that sucked. I haven't gone fast in that event in over a year. I hear it always. And that is what is going through their head when they are behind the block. Because when they're doing those sets, those crazy, crazy sets, they're done to survive, to make an interval. They're not done with great turns, great push-offs, great breakouts, great stroke. It's the exact opposite. And when you sit back and you're watching these kinds of sets, you can't help but think, this isn't at all how they want to be racing. It can't be. And the beauty of this kind of training is that it is how you want to race. And if you are doing what you should be doing, which is journaling, I cannot recommend that enough, you can look back at your progress and see set to set, like on that 50 set, and it's done multiple times throughout a season. Man, I really got faster pushing those 50s as I went. And I really struggled getting to halfway underwater on backstroke, but now it's easy and my times have dropped and you can see that. That gives you confidence. And that's just one of the many things I love about this. So if you have questions about this whole less is more thing, always hit me up in the comments. If you would like me to give you some coaching remotely to any degree, send me an email But I hope that, as with all of these episodes, you have learned something that helps you swim different and swim faster. Good luck.